Hello. Thank you for joining another Working with Ward series. This program is going to be a little bit different. This is a program that's going to be about how I went from college to working for major corporations and then on to being in business for myself for the last 30 or 35 years.
What was your upbringing like? What kind of pushed you into becoming a businessman yourself?
So my upbringing was modest. My father was a small farmer and a science teacher in the local high school. It was a big school, all of 40 kids in my graduating class, the biggest class they'd ever had. I actually started school in a one-room schoolhouse with 13 children. My class was the largest, and there were 3 kids in it, and one of them was my first cousin. So, small town, actually no town. Nearest town was 20 miles away. School was 3 miles away, uphill both ways, had to walk it in the snow, that kind of story. But I think it was that modest upbringing that gave me lots of confidence, and that's one of the things I want to project from this series is developing confidence in people to get out and do something for themselves, not necessarily for someone else. I graduated from a small college in western Kansas called Fort Hays Kansas State University, and it was a great education, appropriate for me. I didn't fit in a big college atmosphere, but what I did learn after I left there was working for a corporation headquartered in New York. I was never going to get to be in the upper echelon or even president of that company, no matter how good I was at what I did, without having gone to an Ivy League college. There was nobody at the upper echelon that hadn't went to an Ivy League university. So it only took a few years before I realized that I needed to figure out how to get into business for myself. Working for a major corporation, I did not ever have the experience of hiring and firing, of managing the money. I was told what we could sell our products for, and I had to go out and sell them. I was told what products we had, and I had to go out and sell them. That was all well and good, but at some point, I wanted to know if I was making the company any money. And it came to me that I needed to get into business for myself, and the only way I was going to learn how to run my own business was to go to work for a distributorship that sold our products, that would allow me to have financial responsibility, the ability to hire and fire, and train me in the etiquette of business. And I went to work, actually, as it turned out, a company made me an offer, and I took it, starting distributorships for them, and they, in essence, gave me a checkbook, said, open a building, rent a building, build a building, fill it with inventory, hire a staff, train the staff, and make it a success. That was a great education. It was a great company, high ethical standards, and
Do you think that experience kind of formed your opinion on college and the importance of everything of it, rather being thrown into how to run a business rather than being taught by a college how to run a business?
I do think that occurred at that point in time. I think I started forming the mindset that college isn't for everyone, that I am a big proponent at this point in my life in trying to convince my grandchildren that they should go into the trades. That it doesn't, just because you go into the trades doesn't mean that you've got to work for somebody all your life. What it means is that you learn a service that people need. And if you know that service and people need it, if you have the desire to go into business for yourself, you can still do it.
How important do you think that financial management and knowing the legalities of business is when starting out?
I think the legalities are important, but you really don't have much to lose at that point in time. So worrying about getting sued and losing your business is fairly irrelevant. It may have tax consequences, but effectively setting up a limited liability corporation is probably the standard for most people. I think what I would consider to be by far more important than worrying about the legalities is worrying about your financial management. And that means that you begin with a financial statement. You do a financial statement every month. You balance your checkbook every month. You create a tax return every year, and you do that religiously. Because if you don't know what your financial situation is at the end of every month, you don't have a clue how to succeed. So in my life, doing bankruptcies, I actually stuck with that business for 10 years, and we took over. I ended up having a partner who was my legal partner, and between the two of us, we took over something close to 30 different businesses that were in a stage of bankruptcy. And everything, no consistency in what they were at all. Engine remanufacturing, paperback book printing, a dairy, food distribution, just a wide variety of businesses. And what you'll find is they all have the same things in common. They may have one thing that makes them special, but by and large, they're all the same. You worry about your inventory. You worry about your accounts payable. You worry about your accounts receivable. You worry about your checkbook. What kind of cash do you have on hand? When you worry about the 4 or 5 essentials of a business, the exceptional part of your business becomes easy to handle. So start off with absolute exceptional financial management of your financial statement and in every way, shape, or form. And you'll at least know what you can do next month. I made money this month, I can go forward. I know how fast I'm burning through. Maybe I started with $100,000. How fast am I going to burn through that $100,000? Will I be generating revenue that offsets the losses in a reasonable period of time that allows me to know I have a chance of success? Because you can burn through $20,000 a month in rental, employees, inventory, whatever, and you'll have 5 months worth of run rate. Is 5 months worth of run rate enough to start developing $20,000 in sales profit, not sales? You might have to generate $100,000 in sales to generate a net of $20,000 to cover your expenses. It's okay to break even for a while. You probably will. You will probably feel like you're suffering for 1 to 5 years maybe. But at the end of 5 years, you will have a business that probably, if it's well run, has a great opportunity to succeed, give you more freedom to enjoy life, and more financial independence to use during that freedom. So I think financial management is by far more things important to worry about in the beginning than legal management.
Ward, what do you think was your biggest challenge in all of your business endeavors?
I knew that I wanted to be in business for myself when I was 30. It took me till I was almost 40 to actually get there. The biggest challenge was not thinking that I could depend upon somebody else to bring me an opportunity. I had to realize at some point that I was the only guy that was going to make it happen. And so I went out and found something. I surrounded myself with great people that were independent businessmen already. I was looking for opportunities. Every time I was with them, I was thinking, what's going on out here that gives me an opportunity to succeed on my own? And I think it's really important that people realize that failure is a part of running a business. I mean, maybe your whole business doesn't fail, or maybe it does. In the end, you've got to have confidence in yourself, and you just got to say, I'm going to do it. And if you fail once, do it again, and do it again. This is the greatest life anybody could ever live by being an independent businessman. Well, thank you for watching this short segment of Working with Ward. A little different than my normal how to do programs, but we're going to do several of these. We're going to ask for the audience to submit questions, and I'll try to answer them in future segments of Working with Ward. I hope that I have given you some encouragement to think about being in business for yourself. You're never too old, and you're also never too young. So again, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.